Hey, what's up? My name is Mr. E, and I'm your online math tutor. Today we are going to be learning about solving systems of equations using the elimination method. I've written down all these basic steps that we need to solve these types of equations. So, the first equation we have is minus 4x minus 2y equals minus 12, and then 4x plus 8y equals minus 24. So let's go to the steps. We have the first step, make sure equation is aligned. So all that is saying is you have your x, y, and constant. So we have x, y, and constant. So it is aligned. So the first condition is met. So we could jump to the second condition, which says pick the variable to eliminate. So we can eliminate either x or y, it doesn't matter which one you choose. But since x has the same coefficient, it's easier to pick x. And by coefficient, I mean this number multiplying the variable. So this is 4 and this is 4. So they have the same coefficient, so it's easier to pick that. So we are going to pick x as the variable to eliminate. So the next step, make sure coefficients of the variable are the same. We've just checked that. They are the same. If not, they give us something to do. We don't have to worry about the alternate statement because it is the same. So let's just go to the next step, which says add or subtract equations. Now I've written down here with in red the conditions, how to know when to subtract or add. If the signs are the same, you subtract, else add. So by the signs, I mean this negative sign and a positive sign. So here we have a negative sign and we have a positive sign. So if they are different, we add. If they are the same, we subtract. In this case, you can see they're different, so we are going to add. So when we add this minus 4x plus 4x, that'll cancel out. So it's eliminated. So we have minus 2y plus 8y, and that will be a positive 6y. And that will be equal to, so minus 12 plus a minus 24, that's a minus 36. So we divide both sides by 6, which is the next step that says solve for the variable. We're solving for y. So y will be equal to minus 6. So y is minus 6. So plug the value into either equation to find the other variable. So we plug in this value into either one of these equations to find x. So if we pick the second equation, we have 4x plus 8, and let's put our parentheses, and this is equal to minus 24. Now in the parentheses, we'll put in the value we have for y, which is minus 6. So now we have 4x. So 8 times minus 6 would be a minus 48. And that's equal to minus 24. So now we add 48 to both sides. So we now have 4x equals, so minus 24 plus 48 will be a positive 24. So we divide both sides by 4. So x will be equal to 6. So in this system of equations, we have the value for x as 6 and the value for y as minus 6. So in this question, we didn't have to worry about making sure the equation is aligned because it was already aligned, and when we were picking the variable, the coefficients are already the same, so we didn't have to worry about that either. So the next question we're going to do, we are going to have to worry about each step. So the next question is 3 plus 2x minus y, and that's equal to 0. And then we have minus 3 minus 7y equals 10x. So it says make sure equation is aligned. As you can see, these equations are not aligned. We have x and y, we have 10x. It's all scrambled. So we have to align it, x, y, and constant. So on the first equation, all we have to do to align that will be just take the 3 to the other side. We just subtract 3 from both sides. So we have 2x minus y equals minus 3. So this first equation, by subtracting 3 from both sides, we have this. So now this is aligned, x, y, and constant. Now in the second equation, we'll probably have to do a little bit more, just one more step to make it align. Because we have the 10x on this side, we have to bring it over to this side, and we have to take this minus 3 and take it over to the other side. So we just go one step at a time. So let's bring the 10x, let's take the minus 3 over to this side. So by adding 3 to both sides on the second equation, we'll have a minus 7y equals 10x plus 3. So from this one, we just added 3 to both sides. So now when we subtract 10x from both sides, we'll now have minus 10x minus 7y equals 3. So now we have the second equation has been modified to minus 10x minus 7y equals 3. Now this is aligned properly. So this is aligned x, y, and constant, and this is also aligned x, y, and constant. So I will erase everything and just write the aligned equation so it'll be easy to follow. So we have 2x minus y equals minus 3. And then we have minus 10x minus 7y equals 3. So as you can see, it's aligned properly. So the next step, pick variable to eliminate. Now we have the option to pick either x or y to eliminate. So since the last time we eliminated x, this time let's choose to eliminate the y. So make sure coefficients of the variable are the same. The coefficient for y for the first one is a 1, because when you have the variable without a number, it's assumed to be 1. It's always 1 unless you have a number that gives you a different value. So in this case it's just y, so it's 1. And the coefficient for the second one is a minus 7. Up top here is minus 1, and this is minus 7. So they are not the same. So we have to make them the same in order to continue. And here it gives us a step on how to do that. It said multiply equations by alternate variable. So all that is saying is you multiply the top equation by minus 7. And then you multiply the bottom equation by minus 1. So we use minus 7 for the top one because that's the coefficient for this. And then we use minus 1 for this one because that's the coefficient for that. So we just alternated it. So in the first equation, when you multiply it through by minus 7, so minus 7 times 2x will be a minus 14x. And minus 7 times minus y will be a positive 7y. And that's equal to minus 7 times minus 3 will be a positive 21. Now for the second equation, we'll multiply by minus 1. So minus 1 times 10x minus 10x will be a positive 10x. So minus 1 times minus 7y would be a positive 7y, and that will be equal to minus 1 times minus 3 times positive 3 will be a minus 3. So now we have the variables 7y and 7y. Their coefficients are the same. So now we can move on to the next step, which says add or subtract equations. So this conditions tells us whether to add or subtract. So if the signs are the same, you subtract. So look at the sign for the y. This is a plus and plus. They are the same, so we have to subtract. So when you subtract minus 14x minus 10x, so this is a minus and a plus, so that turns that into a minus. So it becomes minus 14x minus 10x. So this is minus 24x. So 7 minus 7 will be 0. So that will be equal to, so 21 minus a minus 3. So we have a double negative. So that turns into a positive. So it becomes a positive 24. So we divide both sides by minus 24, which is the next step that says solve for the variable. So x will be equal to minus 1. Now in the final step, plug value into either equation to get the other variable. So you have the value for x is minus 1, so you plug it into either equation. So let's go with the first one. So we have 2 and put out parentheses minus y equals a minus 3. Now inside the parentheses you put in the value for x, which is a minus 1. So now we have minus 2 minus y equals a minus 3. So you add 2 to both sides. So you have minus y equals minus 3 plus 2. So that would be a minus 1. So since minus y equals minus 1, y will be equal to a positive 1. So now we have a system of equations as x is minus 1 and then y is 1. And this is how you solve systems of equations using the elimination method. Thank you.